Hello and greetings. Welcome to the first Fireside Chat for Day 4 GatherVerse Youth Summit. With me, I am joined with the remarkable Dr. Joy Davis, and it's such an honor to have you here. And before we just kick off with our Fireside Chat, I'd like you to introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Okay, she's coming back. All right.
Hello, can you hear me? Oh, hello.
Sorry, Dr. Daniel, I've muted my microphone there for some reason. I don't even know what happened. I was speaking to myself about 5 seconds there. So,
I can hear you just fine. Hello.
Yes, we're back. Yeah, kindly tell us who you are, Dr. Joy, and why you're here. We're very excited to have you here. So, Dr. Joy, the mic is yours.
Great. Thank you so much for having me here, Lynn. It's a pleasure to meet you and to speak with you. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Danielle Joy Davis. I'm a tenured full professor at St. Louis University in St. Louis, Missouri, in the United States. And I'm excited to be here because a lot of my research and a lot of my service over the last 20 years have centered upon uplifting youth and engaging youth in STEM activities in new and innovative ways. And even though for the most part I teach graduate students, I still work with youth regularly in terms of STEM education and particularly connecting STEM to community engagement. That's something that's very important to me and something that I try my best when I work with youth to help them make the connection between the science and how can this serve my community? So I'm happy to be here and to join the conversation in this awesome youth summit.
Wow, that is very impressive and admirable. I wouldn't want another person who would done this fireside chat with than you. So we're going to talk about rising together, guiding the journey forward. And I just want to kick off with this question. With the body of work you've done, with the research in academia, what does it really mean to lead with heart and curiosity in the world that often demands speed without depth?
Yes, that's a very good question, And one thing that helps me understand and to answer this question best is to think about what we have at St. Louis University. It's a Jesuit institution. Jesuits were the Society of Jesus, right? So basically it's a Christian university. And one thing about the Jesuits is it's very centered upon issues of social justice. So how do we use our science, our theories, everything that we do to promote equality, equity, fairness, righteousness in the world for the greater glory of God, right? And I think that that helps me understand and answer this question because in a sense you cannot lead fast too fast, right? Because if you lead too fast and do not take into account the entire human person, their history, their experiences, their needs, their concerns, you're going to end up missing something, right? And that's one aspect of Jesuit education is teaching people how to have all that in the back of their minds as they lead, as they innovate, as they go out and make positive change in the world. Yes. So from my perspective, one of the past panels that you had, I think only an hour ago, one of the young people mentioned the importance of empathy and soft skills. And I loved that, right? Because, yes, I love that because I feel like in terms of sustainability, in our society, and in terms of promoting positive, sustainable change and mental health, mental wellness, that we do need to go deeper and to consider the whole human person and go deeper in terms of understanding each other, working with each other, collaborating with each other. And sometimes technology does not allow us to do that well. We have to come face to face with each other and get our hands in the trenches and create good together. So that's the way I would answer that question.
Let's see.
Hello. Yes.
Yes.
We had some technical difficulties. These things happen, but please continue with what you are saying kindly.
Yes. I think I'm
Okay, we
complete.
can't hear you. Your mic is muted.
Oh.
Sorry about this, Doctor. We have, like I said, we are having difficulties. I'm also a moderator. Lynn's a moderator, so we're trying to sort things out in the behind the scenes, and we're having difficulties trying to do that. So,
Russell, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
good.
Okay. Yeah.
I can hear you fine. Yes.
Fantastic. So, I want to go on to the next question, Dr. Daniel. I have been listening to what you're saying, and even behind the scenes, what does it mean to sort of lead with heart and curiosity in a world that often demands speed over depth? I mean, we're talking about before collaborating and the internal side. So, what does it mean in to lead with heart and curiosity in the world often demands speed in terms of over depth? Could you answer that question for me?
Yeah, well, I think, as I mentioned, one thing that is very important is to focus upon empathy. So leading with depth, right, requires us to be empathetic, requires us to consider the whole person, to consider our communities, and to actually genuinely work with people directly and their communities directly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that takes time. That
Mhm.
takes time. You cannot understand a person or a community's experiences. You cannot understand their concerns. You cannot understand their needs in a speedy way. If it's going to really speak to their hearts, that's going to take time. So that's the way I would answer that question. I think that genuine engagement is the answer to that question. Community engagement.
Community engagement, empathy,
Yes.
leading with heart. But I guess my next question is, what does it mean to be truly connected as humanity, right? We're talking about collaboration and bringing humanity together. What does it truly mean for that, like as connected as a humanity?
I think that is multifaceted. Okay. I think one part of us connecting as humanity, and I'm thinking about my own personal experiences as well as what I've observed in the world. I think that one part of that is moving outside of our comfort zones, right? Be willing to move outside of our comfort zones and to understand others, to work with others, to stand side by side others. And I may be different from you or someone else, but still by standing side by side with you and learning about you and learning about your thoughts, your dreams, your concerns, what's important to you, by understanding that's going to, in my mind, and in anyone who takes that step forward to mine, that's going to expand your dignity as a human being, and it's going to make genuine connections even greater and more meaningful. I have an example, if we have time for my example.
I think so. Yeah, I think we have a few minutes, so
Okay.
please, I'd be interested to hear, and
Oh,
and,
sure.
and also just by the way, just to kind of add on what you're saying, absolutely, I think it's really important if you put yourself in someone else's shoes, you can understand them as a person and stuff. So please do provide us your example, because I'm curious to hear what it is.
Yes. Well, since this is a youth summit, I
Yes.
will draw upon my experiences when I was a youth. Okay.
Okay.
Once
Okay.
upon a time,
All right.
yes, I
Yeah.
was 18 years old. I was 18 or 19 years old.
Okay.
Once upon a time. And
Okay.
when
It's like kind of like a style of a fairy tale or something. I'm liking this. Continue.
yes. So once upon a time, when I was 18 or 19 years old, I was a freshman at Webster University, right?
Okay.
And when I first started university, my first semester, my grades were, it was challenging for me because I basically joined the pom-pom squad. Pom-pom girls are the girls who dance with pom-poms during football games, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
those girls who
Yeah, like a cheerleader. Yeah.
exactly. And apparently, I had trouble balancing being a pom pom girl and making good grades, right? So,
Okay.
first semester and a half were not quite great. And at one point, I thought to myself, I know I can do better than this. I know I can do better than making C's, right? I know I can do
Yeah.
better than this. So, I thought to myself, well, birds of a feather flock
Flock
together.
together.
Say. So I looked around myself and I asked myself, okay, well, who in my space appears to be making straight A's? And who in my space appears to be very work oriented and wanting to study regularly? Because clearly that's what I need if I'm making C's, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
For us in St. Louis, Missouri at that time, and this may sound mighty stereotypical, but the people who were making A's were the Asian students. So I thought to myself,
Okay.
they are making A's in my space, and that's what I want to do. I guess I need to make them my new friends, you know? So I had to, as an African American woman and a woman whose family has been here in the United States hundreds of years, so I'm not a new immigrant at all. Okay,
Okay.
as a yes. So as a African American woman, as a young person, I had to move outside my comfort zone, and when I saw the Asian students in the library, I had to say, okay, you know what? The only people in the library at 1 a.m. were me and this group of Asian students. That's it. Everyone else was gone, right? So I said, I need to make a step forward to befriend them. And I did. One day, they had a room at their study table. So I just sat down and said, hi, I'm Joy. And from there, a friendship began. And not only that, but they were just so thrilled and excited that an American, not just an American, but a Black American was in their space and wanted to engage with them, and I was ecstatic because I thought to myself, look at this, I'm not being turned away. I'm not being treated poorly. They actually want me to be in their study group, right? But then I had to take a leap of faith to not assume that just because they were Asian, just because they were from Thailand, that they would reject me or that we had such stark differences that we couldn't communicate. That was not true. Not only did we communicate, but guess what? I went from being a C student to a straight A student. I became a part of their culture. I was the only Black person in the Thai Student Union Association. Okay,
That's amazing.
and other people were like, is she Thai? That is the darkest Thai person I've ever seen. But again, I think that story is a demonstration of how, regardless of our race or culture, that sometimes we need to humble ourselves and say, you know what? Let's be side by side with another group and let's just learn.
Sure.
Let's just share. And that's my example.
Well, Dr. Daniel, on that note, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off, but
okay.
It was such an amazing story. Thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate it. And, you know, the old saying is, you know, you become the 5 most people that you hang out with. Yeah, I'll end things on that note. So thank you so much, Dr. Daniel, for joining us. Please, everyone, go and follow Dr. Daniel on LinkedIn. Support her. She's amazing. And also check out the website below, as you can see as well. And on that note, thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Daniel. And I will see you guys up next for the roundtable discussion of Children of the Metaverse. So see you guys very shortly. Bye.
Thank you.